Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about LAC, Lithium Americas Corporations. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe and leave your notifications on. At any point if you have any questions or you're wondering about technical analysis that I'm going through and technical indicators, you'll find a playlist in the description below and make sure to comment down your questions and suggestions. I'm going to go through technical analysis, news, what I think about this stock, and how I expect it to play. Let's jump right into it. Moving on towards a 1 week perspective, we get to see that the MACD here has gone towards a bit of a positive after heading a bit more towards a negative sign. So that is a really good movement. Although the volume here is hitting around 24 million on 1 week perspective compared to around around say 12 million in the previous weeks. So that is a really high indication that there's a lot of interest and hype for it this week. Only a percent R puts the stock at overbought. That is more of a dangerous sign to be in, although momentum seems to be incredibly strong and unbalanced seems to be almost at the highest level it's ever been. And if we're looking at the ADX here, we're looking at an indication of a very strong trend around 40. Once it reaches 45 to 50, that's where you start worrying a little. Now, moving averages look incredibly bullish. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA. It's above the 200 SMA and above the 50 SMA. You can see the 50 SMA here, and I'm zooming in, is crawling up towards the 200 SMAs. The purple line, once it crosses above the blue line, that's called a golden star, and that is a very bullish sign. The trading action zone is below the price action between the 10 SMA and the 30 EMA. That's the green line and the red line. And that's where reversals are likely, so if it does dip, you can expect for it to actually still rise back up. Now, if we were to look into a 1 day perspective, what we get to see here is a really bullish sign on the MACD where a reversal seems to have occurred sometime around 15th of September, and ever since then, it still looks really bullish. On the ADX, it supports in a very strong trend, although 1% R puts it still at overbought, but it has been overbought for quite a bit and still progressing to new highs. Momentum here seems to be really strong, and the unbalanced volume looks really strong. Now, if we were to look into the 1 hour perspective, and this is just merely for literally one hour's or a few hours perspective coming into Monday, so take this with a grain of salt. But you get to see very bullish moving averages, prices above the VWAP. ADX shows in a very strong indication of a trend. 1% R is neutral to overbought. Momentum seems to be strong, but the MACD seems to be curving down, attempting to go towards a negative sign. But it's very similar to what has happened a little bit around this region a week ago, and he still saw green during the day. So let's take a quick look into charts, especially moving averages. What we get to see on the moving average is that the unbalanced volume has gone vertical. Now that is a very interesting sign, and usually it's a little bit of a bearish sign. It shows in that there is very strong hype all of a sudden, and that might be a little bit too dangerous for stock. But the moving average band, it's expected that it's been trading in. The top of it is around 854, middle is 777, and then 699 on the bottom. So you can expect, if it does actually follow this moving average, and it seems to have been quite following it quite a bit, and even when it does jump, it looks like it goes back. So you can expect for it to fall back into that moving average band. But even with those falling backs, like, I mean, if you're considering the $9.01 for the previous high, it's right now 11.22. So it looks like it's really on a high uptrend and looks positive in the future for a longer term if you're investing. If you're trading, might have a little bit of different news for you. On the Fibonacci support, the current support is sitting at 9.23. Now, if we were to look at a significant resistance, it is actually right now on the 52-week high, and the last one that it has been was all the way back in 27th of November 2017, and that's way too far, and you don't have any current resistance up on there, so it's almost at an all-time high. So resistances, honestly, I would only say you probably have the 1030 and then the 1122. Unless we're going all the way back, then we can try to identify some. That would be like the 1039 and then the 1069. For the sake of argument, let's take a quick look onto there. So the current price is around 1031, and so the current resistance is be, if it's gonna follow based on this one, which I really doubt it, 1039. That's a strong resistance there. 1047, 1069, and then 1080, and then 1095, and then moving on to there to 1122. We're talking about supports. We're talking about a 985 support over here. I'm going to remove the Fibonacci retracements, help you see it better. And I'm Ecology. There we go. And we get to see at 954, below that 913, 897, and we're going down to 880. Alright, awesome. Looks like there is a bunch of supports, not a lot of resistances, but that might be a little bit dangerous. Now, if we were to look into a channel, it's been following a really nice channel almost ever since, perhaps, I would say, March. But I started the channel somewhere around May just to make it simpler here. You get to see it's been trading on the bottom half and then saw a jump to the top half, amazing, and then continued to drop down to the bottom half. And it looks like that is kind of a trend where it sticks into the channel, and so far it hasn't broken that trend. But what is there to expect when the price jumps in this too high? You get to see it's on the top of the channel. So let's take a quick news to see, well, what has made it to jump this much high. It went from the bottom of the channel to the top of the channel in 1 week. This might be actually the best week it has seen in quite a bit. So let's take a quick look. Now, in terms of the company's perspective, in terms of news and everything here, you get to see that, well, they're amazing in terms of $400 million raised in debts and equity, around less than 4,000 per ton for cash cost per ton for battery grade lithium carbonate in Argentina and in the United States, over 45% complete construction in the 40,000 TPA lithium project in Argentina, and a world-class projects in Argentina and the USA. There we go, sticks up. Alright, and so you get to see in terms of senior management, they do have quite a bit. I didn't go through every single one, but I did see the CEO has a positive history. If we were looking into the company's presentation here, let's take a quick look. We get to see there is a bunch of positive PRs that are possible to come in, including, for instance, the Cauchari-Olaroz Lithium Project. And I'm very sorry, it looks like it's an Argentinian name, and that's not my native language. Construction of a 40,000 TPA lithium project in Argentina, and it looks like the capital cost is around 565 million on a 100% basis, which is around almost 3,500 per ton. That's for operations cost. In early quarter 3 2020, to protect the health of the safety of our employees and contractors and support province in Jujuy COVID-19 measures, construction activities were temporarily suspended, working with the province of Jujuy, local communities, unions, or workforce to gradually restart construction. And so over 75% of the capital cost spent or committed includes over 54% of capital cost spent. Now, going in down, we get as well a bit more updates regarding basically different things as when the operation started, anticipations of the product. The project life is around 40 years. Average production is around 40,000 TPA battery grade lithium carbonate. Construction capital cost for 565. I did already mention that, and so there is a bit more technical news. So it is considered still a large scale brine source for lithium brine resource. It is going on almost 19.9 MT. You're comparing it to 6.4 for the Olaroz, and other ones going down all the way to around the 4 average. Looks positive. Now, going on to construction schedule, it's approximately 50% complete with 54% of capex spent on as of June 30th. And you get to see as well on the JV transaction, 51/49 is announced, and 2021 is the closing of the 51/49 JV transaction, and I do have a PR related to that as well that is positive. I'm sorry, there is a bunch of things here in the presentation. You can skip forward if you don't like, if you wouldn't want to watch this one. 100% owned by Lithium Nevada Corp for the Thacker Pass lithium project, and you can guess that's in Nevada. Nearby infrastructure located mines and towns off. So basically, they have mining towns as well. So staff there, it's not a shortage. Produced over 15,000 kilograms of lithium sulfate solution. Believe that was more of in their test facilities. And then moving on, you get to see around quarter 3 2020, the draft of EIS was released. DFS results, which is expected in quarter 4 2020. That looks kind of positive going into almost construction begins targeted in quarter 1 2021, which is basically the next quarter. Now, it does go through exactly how they process their solutions and whatnot. I'm not going to go through the chemical process for lithium, for extracting around neutralization filtrate of lithium sulfate. But the Thacker Pass development schedule here looks like in 2020 completed off DFS target and begins a phase 1 construction target in 2021. They have a bunch of things in the appendix, but the only thing that I really am concerned about is the level of cash, which we will be covering in a little, and look into the net losses or their operational expenses. Now, moving on, we get to see on institutional buyers here, we get to see that on the 28th, it looks like, on September, it doesn't look like there's any significant ones coming in. And you get to see as well for the Cauchari-Olaroz transaction, that looks like it's on, we got an update on the 27th. And that looked like it has been completed as previously announced, so that is positive news. But that was all the way to 27th, and I couldn't find latest news that would have had it to jump, but I do know why. So just before we go forward, we're going to look into company updates. You can pause here your screen and get to read on it, but basically I've covered a lot of it in the presentation itself. I just don't want to be very repetitive. You know, these videos tend to be sometimes lengthy for new tickers that I'm dealing. So cash and cash equivalents, you're looking at $49.8 million, and then we're looking at a total loss, or in terms of expenses, somewhere around $6 million. So that still looks amazing in terms of having enough capital to move forward with this without releasing any offerings or any extra capital needed. Now, what is the biggest hype that is creating this one? And from what I can see from the community is that they missed the Tesla run, right? From all the way 300s to pre-split almost around 2000. So they're trying to go on, all right, well, next thing is the battery. And the biggest hype is what to expect from Tesla's on battery day, and it's the battery day on Tuesday, September 22nd. So it is not a direct catalyst, but it is basically with rumors that Tesla wants to buy mines, and it's a big thing about lithium batteries, and the batteries are the future. Now, don't get me wrong, I do expect that lithium batteries are here to stay probably for quite a bit, and lithium mining will probably be there for quite some time. And so if you're investing in this stock, this definitely has a good up chance. Now, the last week's jump, and I'm just referring to if you're trading, right? If you're investing, this one looks like it has a really good uptrend in the future. I'm just giving you the best entry / exit, and that's it. If you're investing, then I would definitely see this company as it has a really beautiful upfront, but you have to be patient with this one, especially coming in from almost $3.34 all the way to $12. You've really hit almost 400%. It's hitting up to the channel, and that's a very dangerous sign, because what I expect it to do, even when it actually basically hit the top of the channel before, am I expecting it to probably fall down at least to either the middle of the channel or to the bottom of the channel. It keeps oscillating on an upwards. And you get to see the channel is actually an uptrend. That is positive, but it's probably going to be oscillating back and forth. You can pause this and take some notes in terms of where the price is, but the expectation is that every day it basically increases, like $8.57 to $8.68, around 10 cents per day. Channel increases up, and you can basically calculate that and see where it stands in on the channel, and that's where I would expect for it to be traded at. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.